Freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
Stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now. If you want to have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, and Ian Freeman, the head honcho over at LRN.FM. Now, you know, how long have you been doing radio, Ian?
All my adult life, I became an intern at what was at that time J-Core radio down in Sarasota, Florida. That became Clear Channel, and got on the air as an intern, and did the rock station thing for a little while, and they ended up flipping that rock station to talk radio eventually. And after a year of that, I managed to convince them to give me my own radio show. So it's been a long history. So basically, for all my adult life, so 13 years or so.
Now, what I wanted to go ahead and finish up on is on some of the equipment here. And the one thing that I want to show here is, let me put that up, Audacity, you're talking about, it's free. You know, this is an amazing thing. In just the last couple of years, free software oftentimes rivals the stuff you're paying $1,000 for. And then what happens, what I'm seeing is the trend is that they'll offer something free to penetrate the market, and then to add on or continue using it or getting something else out of it or another little feature, all of a sudden, yep, you got to pay for that one. So you got to use it. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Man. That's what they want to do. Yeah, cool. So what we're going to do is we got the software thing taken care of, Audacity, just an example. You can even be your own radio station. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull that up. It's called Sam Broadcasting. Now, Sam Broadcaster, what it does is it provides an entire suite of an opportunity to put, it's like a media player that you put in your commercials, you put in your talk shows, your songs, whatever you want, and you just put it up, and you can be, your own radio show. So this is...
All right, so you're talking about radio, you're talking about the SAM radio automation software?
Right.
Does the SAM software let you connect to internet streams?
It doesn't, as I understand it, it is the player. Okay, what happens is that we've had to where they put in the player, and then you have to be able to connect with something I think they call like WinApp or something like that. And so it doesn't connect to the internet. It just does. It's like being a mixer. It's the mixer,
right.
But you got to be able to have something that receives the signal. So it's like a fancy mixer on your computer is what it winds up being.
It's a radio. Basically, what you're describing is radio automation software that allows you to input commercials and songs if you wanted to do music, for instance, or programs or whatever, and then it goes through what they call the log, where it just steps through and it plays one thing after another, and then you could go live with it. So we use radio automation software here at LRN.FM. When you hear those commercials playing, they're playing from a $3,000 piece of software that is professionally done for the radio industry. And Sam, what you're talking about is, I believe there's a free edition of it that's out there, and it's more of an entry-level kind of basic software, and it does a good job at what it does. But, Ernie, when we were originally carrying your show at LRN.FM, back when you were on the last network you were on before you fully came over and joined LRN, we were taking you from another network. And the way I had to make that work was I was pulling their stream and rebroadcasting it. And what I needed to find was some sort of software, because the professional radio software doesn't do this stuff. I had to find some kind of software that would allow me to tune into your stream at certain times, because I didn't want to run that other network's other content, because they had some kooky stuff on there. But I wanted to run your show, so I had to find something I could schedule, and I could say, all right, at 3:06, I need you to tune into this stream. And I found it. It's called Zara, and it's a competitor to SAM Automation. It does, pretty much the same stuff from what I understand that SAM does. It plays back the commercials. It plays back the audio files that you put into it. But you can also put in elements that allow it to, instead of just playing a file on your computer, it tunes into an internet stream like LRN.FM, and you can do that at a certain time. So I recommend people take a look at that. There's a free version of Zara as well, so definitely worth a look.
I'm looking at live streaming. Let's go ahead and put it up here. HD live streaming access across the globe, Zara, and they're talking about, okay. So there's all kinds of software out there to do this. Anybody that's really interested, they start looking at it, and they'll find that there's all kinds of stuff. And what I want to make sure, and we're just kind of playing on the internet here as we're doing the video feed of this, because I wanted you guys to see how easy it is to get access to free stuff. Now there's another thing that I want to talk about is the actual cabling. A lot of times they'll try and skimp on the cables that they're doing this with, and you go, why does this sound like crap? And it's because you bought the $5 cable when if you should have bought the $12 cable. So go ahead and let's talk about some of the simple stuff like cabling.
I'm not a cable snob, Ernie. Most of the cables here in my studio are the cheapies. I mean, they're the Hosa brand cables that I buy through Broadcast Supply World, the basic 5, 10, 15-foot XLR to XLR, which XLR is the professional kind of level connection that you'll see, for instance, when you're looking. What's that? Yeah, the 3-prong. When you're looking at that mixer that you had up earlier, the connections up at the top left, the big circular 3 prongs are the XLR connections. And those
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you got the little cable coming from your sound card from your computer into your mixer, and you got it into an adapter that goes in, and you got this little skinny. I'm going, that doesn't work that good.
The problem there isn't necessarily the cable, but the matching of the sound card to the professional audio equipment. So what you're dealing with there is the sound card you're using on your laptop or on your average desktop computer is not designed for professional audio. It's designed for consumer level stuff. So that's one of the reasons why having that mixer with the USB is really nice, because it eliminates that problem. And it sounds really great. But if you just have a mixer without USB and you have to plug your computer into it, you are going to have problems, because then you're essentially taking a consumer level device, which is your computer, and trying to adapt it into this professional device. And it makes it much more difficult. However, there are a lot of the soundboards have the RCA connectors, which are you may be familiar with them from like VCRs, for instance, or DVD players, where they're the red and the white colorings on them. Those are the RCA connectors. That's the way you can probably plug your computer into your soundboard if you don't have the USB, and it'll sound pretty good. But if you try plugging your computer's sound card into like what they call a balanced audio input, like the professional XLR connection, you're going to have problems.
So what we should tell people is that they're doing this, they need to get the USB, because computer matches everything up, right?
It makes it really easy.
Yeah, let's go ahead and suggest that. USB. So you want to buy a mixer, get the one with the USB. And you're talking, it was the Behringer and what was the other brand?
Alesis.
The Alesis.
The Behringer Xenix and the Alesis Multimix.
Okay, so that's what we'll go ahead and suggest. Now, the thing that I also wanted to get into is, the microphone is really... Yeah, you can get a lot better microphones, and we may do that's kind of on the list, but it's really you get good enough. I mean, it's talk. You're not you're
not recording instruments.
Yeah, you're not doing violins. I mean, it's talk. You're in a certain band. So then you got the microphone. You got a mixer that's USB. You got within the last year, a computer, a laptop, and you're probably styling. You have some kind of audio recording software that you can get for free on the internet. And you can pay, like I use Audio Edition, and that thing was $600, $800. That was a lot. I mean, back when I got it. And so you don't have to get that kind of stuff, and it depends what you're doing with it. The mixer allows you.
Ernie, I used the Behringer B1 microphone for years on my show. I don't use them now, but I did use those for years, and those things are less than $100 a piece, and they do a great job. And so, like you said, $69, you've got a decent mic. It's going to get the job done. It's got it's going to have a good sound to it. And if you really want to go cheap, you can get 3 for $30, and it'll get you started. And then down the line, you can take a little more time, spend time, figure out the different types of mics, and figure out what you want, and then upgrade down the line.
Before we end this segment, I want to hear a little bit about Skyping. Now, I know you have some of your shows. Well, Mark Stevens is a good example. He would record his show Skype and did a great job, I'm sure. And then he moved into the studio here, and the difference in quality is like, from a 1 to 10, Skype's what, and the studio is what?
I've never been a fan of Skype. It does what it does, but you can't really adjust the quality. You kind of have to take what they give you, from my understanding of it at this point. I would say Skype quality 3, and then there are other options that are much better.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same, but sometimes it just comes down to content. We'll be right back here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, Ian Freeman, Program Director at LRN.FM. And when we come back, we're going to talk about being your own radio station. Ooh, plugging into the Matrix, broadcasting, jacking in. We'll be right back here on Declare Your Independence in just a little bit.